Hey, I'm Dave Klein of TheRealStanley.com, and I'm here with Richard, who's the Senior Director of Marketing for Telltale Games. And we're here with The Walking Dead 400 Days, a new title that you guys just announced through Vine, of all places. Why did you decide Vine?
Well, we just wanted to do something cool and get people talking again. You know, it had been a while since we'd actually released any information on The Walking Dead. People kind of had an idea that we'd got something new coming, but we just wanted to get people excited and talking, and it definitely seemed to achieve that.
So I'm really curious, because you do have a Season 2 coming. What made you decide to have 400 days other than the millions of awards that you guys won?
We really wanted to provide like something that offered connectivity between Seasons 1 and Seasons 2. So 400 Days is DLC for Season 1. It's not a direct continuation of Lee and Clementine's story, but definitely some of the things that you did, some of the things that you experienced in Season 1 are going to roll right over into 400 Days. And then even more than that, things that you do in 400 Days will continue and will roll over into Season 2.
So how's that going to work with Season 2? Because 400 Days is something that I'm assuming you don't have to play, but you can have played Season 1. How many different choices are there going to be that actually do really affect the plot from 400 Days?
The way that we handle it is if there are certain keys or triggers which you haven't played, then the game basically randomly generates some of those for you. But obviously, if you are a fan of the game and you really want to see everything, then you definitely should play 400 Days just so you can see those little cool callbacks both to Season 1 and see how those things that you do in 400 Days again roll forward into Season 2.
Now, Robert Kirkman, who wrote the comics, who has a hand in the show, also had a hand in Season 1. Does he also have a hand in 400 Days specifically?
Yeah, we work directly with Robert and Skybound Entertainment, which is Robert's company. They're the IP holders for The Walking Dead. We work with them at pretty much every level, so they see the story, they know what's coming. They, even though Robert doesn't actually write the stories, because obviously he's an incredibly busy person, they're involved with everything that we do.
And I'm assuming, like Season 1, it's the same world as the Walking Dead universe from the games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fact, for 400 Days, it takes place at this truck stop on a Georgia highway. So it's basically 5 short stories within one DLC episode. So you see the apocalypse from day 0 through to day 400 through the eyes of these 5 different people and play their like 5 individual stories throughout the entire episode.
So in a way, it's almost like getting 5 episodes, because before each episode you only played as one character when you were playing Season 1. So is it completely different areas when you play as these characters, or how much do they interact with each other?
Well, they're all focused around this one central area. It's a truck stop on a Georgia highway, and the kind of idea behind it is if this place could talk, what would it tell you about the things that it had seen? Almost like and almost also kind of like some Pulp Fiction style moments to address your question, which is that there's definitely crossover between each of those 5 stories. And the good thing about it, or the interesting thing about it, is that you don't have to play them in a linear fashion. So you don't have to start with Chapter 1 and then go through to Chapter 5. You can play in any order that you want to and experience the apocalypse from these different points of view over this amazing stretch of time.
Right, and when you're playing as these different characters, is there any particular one who has a certain story that's going to more so lead into Season 2?
Well, what's going to happen is once you've played through each of these 5 stories, you're going to kind of come to a resolution at the end of 400 Days, and the things that you see in that resolution, they're the things that are going to really roll forward into Season 2.
Okay, because when you were showing us the demo, you kind of choose which character that you play as, but eventually you're going to play as all of them?
Yes, absolutely, yeah, and again, you can play them in any order. And then we also just announced that The Walking Dead in the entirety of Season 1 and 400 Days is coming to PlayStation Vita, and that is in August.
Great, and I'm also curious, we've seen some sort of crossovers from the locations in Walking Dead Season 1 that were in the game. Are there going to now be any specific locations that are going to then cross over into the show or the comics from the game?
There aren't any plans for that right now, but who knows, maybe in the future.